Hey, how you doing? I want to talk about iterative pricing, which is not actually what I want to talk about, but it's just a fancy word. But yes, we are going to talk about iterative pricing. What do I mean by that? Let's say a client comes to you and they make a list of things they want. It might be an existing client or a brand new client. So they might say, here's 10 things we want to get done, okay? And you price it up, okay? And there's a price for that. They pay for it, maybe in advance or however you do your payments, 50-50 or anything like that. And you do all of those 10 things. You've spoken to them, you've clarified what does point 5 or 6 mean, but you've done all 10 of those things. The client then changes their mind. No, sorry, let me say that in a different way. They then say, okay, those 5, the top 5 of the 10 that you did, can we now do them a little bit differently? I've had a change of mind. Or now that you've done it, can we change it back? Or can we do something different? Do you now charge extra because you did 10 and now there's 5 changes to the 10, so it's a total of 15 things you're doing? Do you charge for those 5? The answer is yes and no. Let me clarify. If the client comes with 10 things and you were clear on what you needed to do, but you did not do that, you were very clear that, yeah, I can do that. Don't worry about it. I understand. But you did not deliver. And it is not the fault of the theme or the plugin or the server or anything like that. They told you make the whole page red and it's now orange, okay? Because you're not using the right hex code. And they're very clear on that. You can't charge them now to now make the orange become red because that's what they asked for. Can you ensure that my form has a submit button, but instead of the word submit, it says send? No, I didn't change that. Well, you should have done. That's what they paid for. That's what you agreed. So those extra 5 things, you can't charge extra for. However, if the client now says, I want 5 things, like we've already said many, many times, and now it's completely different. And even when I say completely different, it's just different. So they originally asked for the page to be red, which you've done, and now they said, can we go with blue? Right, now I'm going to do the color branding and palettes again. Can we change the text from pop-ins to railway? Okay, now we've got to do all of that as well. Can we change the images? So they got a website or a page. They've already got images, and the first 10 of the requests, one of them was the images, and you did that. You did what they said. You got the image, sized up properly, whatever, WebP, scaled, cropped, mobile version, responsive, all of that. You've done all of that. You've delivered. And then they go, actually, I want a different image now. If the 5 new extra things, it could be 10, it could be 15, it could be 20, even 1,000, probably not. But whatever were the changes, if they are different to what was the iterative list or that list they gave you, you should charge extra. And I'm going to give you an example. We had a client, brand new client. We did some stuff for them. We had a list of things to do and we delivered on that, and there was a charge for it. And we got paid for that. Then they asked for 10 other things. And I said to them, we're not going to do those until the first payment is cleared. And once that payment was cleared, because they paid for it, I then did the next 10 or-ish kind of whatever the number of items were. Then the next day they asked for another load of things, and they were completely different from the second and the first list, or what they were revisions, because now they're kind of going, yeah, actually I want to do this a little bit. And I did advise them, it's best if you really think hard about what you want. I mean, I don't mind doing it, but I'm trying to, keep the costs down for you. But I wasn't going to do the third iteration until they pay for the second. And it might feel like, well, you're holding them to ransom. Not really. It's their website. Okay, it's their website. They can do what they want. They can go and work with someone else, or they can kind of start thinking a bit more methodically. Because here's the danger, okay? Here's the big danger. If they give you 10 things to do and you do them, and then they give you 10 more, which are different, okay, and you do them, they'll do it again and again and again, and you set a precedent in place. Because just because let me explain. Just because you've done the first 10, this is probably not making sense to many people now. 10, 5, 15, 20, what's going on here? Once you've done the first 10, that does not mean they now have a right to change their mind and you just do it and the cost here was absorbed. So let's say the first 10 was $1,000 to do everything, right? Let's just say. And then they give you 10 different. You can't say that the cost of that is absorbed here in the 1,000. No, that's 1,000. This is $800, whatever, okay? They've got to understand and respect that it's your time and your effort going in, and they must value you. Otherwise, why do they come to work with you? And I do sometimes let people know, look, here's our cost. You can get it a whole lot cheaper on other markets. You can go to Upwork, Fiverr, other places. You don't have to just use me. And that's one thing I do like to remind all of our clients with. Just because you've worked with us in the past, here's our rates, here's how we operate. You don't have to use me, okay? I will not be offended if you don't. Let me put that out there. But here's what it is. And if the iteration is different to what we agreed, you got to pay for it. If, however, I got it wrong, I didn't clarify and I made an assumption and I got it wrong and I didn't think it through correctly, or I said, yeah, we can do that, but I then find actually I can't, that's on me. Now, bear in mind though, that sometimes I know there is stuff I can do. But believe me, when you're working on a website where there's maybe over 60 plugins, believe me, I have worked on some and it blows my mind why we have so many. Sometimes the plugins and the themes or something in there is not allowing me to do what I know I can do. And I do let the clients know that as well. I say to them, look, if you had a basic website built from scratch, how I would have built it, I know we can deliver X, Y, Z. But because you've got so many components going on now, it's now all of a sudden become fiddly. So make clear what you're going to deliver. But if we just go full circle back to iterative pricing, if you don't deliver, you're going to have to do the work again, and you can't probably charge for that because you didn't really deliver, right? If you say to someone, I'm going to paint your walls, and they come in and go, you've only painted halfway, you're not going to get paid unless you paint the room properly, okay, because of what the expectation was or what the agreement was. But if you paint a room and then they go, oh, can we change the colour? The painter ain't going to go, don't worry, I'll do that for you. He'll go, no, you got to pay extra for that then. And that's the way it is. Hey, I'm Imran from Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share and follow. I'll see you soon.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag.